And welcome to another video with Better Pics. It has been a while, and my apologies that it has been quite some time since I've put out a video. However, things have been a little bit busy for us lately with our businesses opening back up, with things settling with COVID within Australia, which we're incredibly grateful for. We're well aware that there's still many people in the world that are in lockdown and suffering the after effects. However, we have been quite a bit busier with our business, and it has taken me away from the series of videos with Better Pics, unfortunately, so I appreciate your patience. Today's video I wanted to create just around the process of setting up projects and importing footage within Premiere Pro, more specifically around the import process for footage. It's a pretty straightforward process, and there's a few different ways you can do it, but sometimes I think the basic stuff is really important to cover, because for people starting out, the really basic stuff is often, I find, overlooked. So we just want to go through that process and have a look at best practice. As always with complex software, around the visual editing space, there are many different ways of doing things, and we'll cover off a few of those today. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to touch on was just on your folder structure and storing your video clips. There's a number of different terms that you'll probably hear. I often use assets when it comes to content that's going to be used in a video, and that's because often I'll have stills, video footage, time-lapse, animation, design that goes into videos. So assets, I just find, covers off on all of those. So yeah, as you can see at the moment, I just have a folder here of video clip samples, and I've broken that down into footage that was taken with a drone, footage that was taken with my GH5, and footage that was taken with a GoPro, and I've separated those into separate folders. Now, it's really important when you're editing video with Premiere Pro. In fact, I would say this is really important no matter what you're creating, whether it's stills or design or anything, to have a really good folder structure that allows you to stay well organized. Particularly video editing within Premiere Pro, because when you open and work on video within a project, you're not actually opening the actual file. You are in a way, but the way that Premiere Pro works is very similar to Lightroom in that it doesn't actually open the actual file, it locates the file. So, for example, if we import a clip into Premiere Pro and then we move the space or the area or from the folder where that clip is actually stored, then Premiere Pro is going to go looking for that clip, because it works on the location of the clip, not the clip itself, if that makes sense. I've probably not described that very well, and there's probably better descriptions online, but we'll show you some examples of what that means and how that works and why it's important. So you can see here I have 3 folders: drone, GH5 and GoPro. Now we're going to go into Premiere, and you can see I haven't set up a project yet, but this is the default opening screen when you start up Premiere. I'm on Premiere Pro 2020. I think there's one new version that's come out since I've been working on this version of Premiere, but the process is virtually the same and hasn't really changed much at all for quite a number of versions of Premiere. So I'm just going to click on New Project, and it's going to give me a couple of options, name, which is fairly normal, and the location. So first I'm going to select the location of where that's going to go. We're going to go to Work Travel, Better Pics, and you can see I've got a folder here, Video Projects. Now again, with separate folders for your assets, my recommendation is always to have a separate folder for your projects. Now, while we're starting one project today, you may have multiple projects within the same overall video that you're creating. So if you're creating a video for a client, you might have a long version of the video, you might have a short version of the video, you might have a subtitled version of the video. There may be a whole bunch of reasons why you have separate video projects. So we're going to select that folder, and you can see down there, select folder. And what we're going to do is call this video editing sample version 1. I always use V1 as a shortened version of version 1. And that just allows me to create, version 2, version 3, and it's quick and easy to understand exactly what that is referring to. So we are good to go. You can see there I've got for renderer, Mercury Playback Engine, GPU acceleration, and all that, which pretty much comes up as default, is fine. I'm going to hit OK. Excellent. All right, you can see we're in our editor. I will be showing you an example video coming up on the layout of Premiere Pro. This is a fairly standard layout for me, which is a little bit different to the default, but you can work around and create your own custom layout for Premiere, exactly the same as you can with Photoshop, exactly the same as you can with Bridge, and basically save it as a workspace. I'm just going to make a quick change. As you can see, I've got the project over here. I'm going to drop that up here, which is where I normally have it. And what we're going to do is start importing footage. Now, I will, as I said, create that video around the workspace for Premiere, so don't be too concerned about trying to figure all that stuff out in depth just yet, but we will create that video soon. All right, so there's a couple of ways that we can import clips into video, and there's two ways that you would consider first. What we're going to do is just grab a couple of clips, go into the GH5 folder, there's 6 clips there, and what we're going to do is just simply select all of those clips, click, drag, drop them into Premiere, and they will start to import. Now, that's a really quick and easy way, and it works. That's the best part about it. Now, these are all .mov or .mp4 files, so there's no sidecar files or any storage folder structure, which you see with some codecs. So it's just the straight video files that we're importing, and you can see there's a couple of differences there in frame rates as well, which is fine. We'll work through that as well. Now that's great if you've got a small number of clips. You can see it's quick and easy to find out exactly what clips are what. But if you're working on a large project and you have a large number of clips, it may be worth utilizing a process called bins, which I'm just going to delete all of those files. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go out of that folder and I'm going to select and drag the actual folder into Premiere Pro, and it's going to drop the folder. Now you can see there's a little right hand arrow there, and if I hover over that, it says GH5 bin. Now what a bin is basically the equivalent of a folder within Premiere, and what that allows is the folder structure that you've created for storing your assets can perfectly replicate the folder structure within your project within Premiere Pro. And that just means if you've got a large number of assets and a fairly complex project, it's much easier to organize those assets and keep them stored in places where you're going to easily be able to find them. What it also means is if you have different people working on a singular project, for example, if you edit a project to a certain point, then you have to hand it off to another editor, then it's going to be fairly quick, self-explanatory, and easy for that new editor to find where those assets are based on the descriptors that you put in. Now, I've used descriptors for these folders based on what the footage was shot with, but you might have, say for example, interview 1 camera A, interview 1 camera B, interview 2 camera A, interview 2 camera B, B-roll, bridge footage. It may be any descriptors that is going to help you to stay organized within that project. It honestly doesn't matter what it is. The only thing that matters is you're using descriptors based on what is going to allow you to find that footage easily, and more importantly, if somebody else has to find it, then they're going to be able to find it easily as well. As I mentioned earlier, it also means that that folder structure will be replicated within Premiere Pro. So if I drop in another folder, it's going to import those files. A little bit more data here, so it's going to take a little bit more time. But you can see now we have a second bin for the drone, and if I again hit that little drop down box, you can see all the footage within the drone is in there. GH5, exactly the same. And if I did the same with GoPro, it would also do exactly the same. Now, my recommendation, I've said this before, say it again. If you've got a complex project, use bins. It's super easy and helps you to stay organized. All right, so that is one method of dropping in either individual clips or folders which become bins within your project. We're going to delete that and we're going to start fresh. Now, if we go down to the bottom left-hand side here and we're going to look for Media Browser, what this basically does is it allows you to access all of the footage. It allows you to access all of the folders on your current computer, and in exactly the same way as if you access those folders external to Premiere Pro, which is exactly what I was doing before. So if we then go to Better Pics, Video Clip Samples, you can see that those three folders, Drone, GH5 and GoPro, are all in there. Now we can go into those individual folders and select those individual clips and import them in exactly the same way, either drag or right click and click import. Or we can go to Video Clip Samples and we can import those folders or click and drag those folders into our project. So that will give us exactly the same scenario as what we did before, where we're either importing individual clips or dropping in those folders to create individual bins. So you can see Media Browser is also a quick and easy way to import footage. Again, working with the folders that exist on your system. So quick and easy and still allowing you to import bins or individual clips. Now, if we go back to the History tab, let's go and we'll just reduce that. The last way that I want to show you is to import clips or to import assets is simply Control-I, which is the shortcut for importing any assets into your video project. And that just basically brings up a Windows or Finder folder structure that you work with, and then you can import those individual clips. Now keep in mind that with this method, using Control-I, you can't actually import a folder, unfortunately. If you select that folder or multiple folders, let's just do one for now, and select open, it actually opens those folders to the individual clips, and that's what you're able to import into your project. From here, you would have to create a new bin and then name that bin appropriately. For example, this is my drone footage, then select all of that footage and then drag and drop it into your drone bin. Now, it's still possible. That's still a method of doing it, but as you can see, it's a little bit more time consuming. It requires more clicks and takes a little bit more time. You might say, well, it's only a few clicks. It's not really that much time. But if you've got hundreds of assets and you're working on a complex project that requires thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of clicks, then if you can avoid that process and make it a little bit more time efficient, then happy days. It's always a good thing to do. So my recommendation is to either go through Media Browser or through the drag and drop process, which was the first process that I showed you. And that means that it's quicker and easier to drop and drag those bins or folders directly into your project. It's super quick, easy, and it works, most importantly. Thanks very much for stopping by for this very quick and long-awaited video. Again, thanks for your patience in me putting out some videos on Better Pics. Been a little bit busy lately. Hope you've enjoyed this one, the basics of importing footage or assets into Premiere Pro. We're going to be looking more into video editing using both footage and stills. So I hope you're looking forward to some of those videos. Obviously, we'll still be putting out photography and Photoshop videos and Lightroom videos and Adobe Camera Raw videos as well. But there'll be a few more videos coming your way as well. So thanks again for stopping by. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button down below if you've enjoyed it, and of course if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to pop them in the comments below. Look forward to seeing you again in the future, and take care.